Hello, dear students. Welcome back to our news channel. Today, we have a power packed episode focusing on two major stories. First one is ASR 2024 Education Report and the alarming transformation of green lands lakes. These stories may seem unrelated, but they have one big thing in common. Our future depends on how we act today. We'll start by learning about ASAR report, ASAR 2024, exploring how children in India are learning, where they need more support, and what changes the national education policy has brought. Then we'll shift gears to Greenland, where thousands of lakes have changed color and become carbon sources instead of carbon sinks. So grab your headphones, get comfortable, and let's get started. Students, first news that we have is ASAR, Annual Status of Education Report. Annual Status of Education Report. This report is conducted by Pratham, Pratham organization, and Pratham is an NGO that has been tracking rural education since the year 2005, and this survey covers nearly 6.5 lakh children across 605 rural districts in India. The findings, some good news and some challenges to work on. Let's break it down into three key takeaways that we have understood from this news article. First is more kids in preschool, which is a big win on early education, right? So, one of the biggest successes of ASA 2024 is the rise in preschool enrollment. In preschool enrollment, the number of 3 to 5 years old. Just a second, students. Yes. So, one of the biggest successes rise in preschool enrollment. So, children of pre-primary age, 3 to 5 years old who are attending pre-primary schools, LKG, UKG or Anganwadis has gone up significantly since the year 2018. Yes, and at age 3, 77%, near about 77% of children are in some form of preschool. At age 4, it's 82%, and even for 5-year-olds, 71.4% are in preschool preparing for class 1. Now, why is this important? Early childhood education. It's a crucial for building foundational skills in reading, writing, and arithmetic. National education policy recognized this and included ages 3 to 6 in structured learning for the first time. Many states are also training their Anganwadi teachers to provide better education. This means that when children enter class 1 at age 6, they are better prepared. Next we have is rise of foundational literacy and numeracy. Let's talk about FLN. FLN क्या है? FLN stands for Foundational Literacy and Numeracy. Okay, foundational literacy and numeracy. Yes. Now, this is all about ensuring that children in classes 1 to 3 can read and do basic math. Students, you don't need to remember all the minute facts. Just you need to have an overview, like what this report is talking about, how the educational system in our country is working, what about the educational status of children who are at primary school, secondary school, what are some of the challenges. That is the whole purpose of presenting this report to you. Okay, so yes, we were talking about foundational literacy and numeracy. Now we also have FLN mission called Nipun Bharat, which was launched in the year 2021, and it aimed to achieve basic reading and mathematics skills for all by 2026-27. Now, what's happening in school? Around 83% of schools say they have received FLN related directives from the government, right? And this is a great step forward, especially after learning losses caused by COVID-19. But there's still work that needs to be done. Uh, so we are talking about digital literacy and future of learning. The older students who are at the age group of 15 to 16. Yes, 15 to 16 age group. Now, Asar found that 90% of rural teenagers have access to a smartphone. But the question is, are they using it effectively? That's the question. That's what we need to consider. The survey tested students' ability to search for information online, set alarms, and browse websites. So 80% of boys could do these tasks, and 78% of girls could, and in some states girls outperformed boys. So the takeaway, while access to technology is increasing, digital education needs more focus to ensure that students use technology for learning and not just for entertainment, राइट। तो ये सारा कुछ इस आर्टिकल में मेंशन्ड है। अगर क्रक्स की बात की जाए तो वही है कि प्री प्राइमरी एज में एनरोलमेंट इंक्रीज हुआ है, लर्निंग एबिलिटी भी इम्प्रूव हुआ है। कहीं पर चैलेंजेस है, फॉर एग्जांपल द डिजिटल लिटरेसी, वहाँ पर काम करने की ज़रूरत है। फाउंडेशनल लिटरेसी एंड न्यूमरेसी में हालांकि स्टेट्स को डायरेक्टिव, स्कूल्स को डायरेक्टिव्स तो रिसीव हुआ है, लेकिन वेदर दे आर वर्किंग on it or not, that's the question. So that is the whole thing mentioned in the ASAR report of 2024. Now students will shift our focus to the environment. In Greenland, what is happening? More than 7,500 lakes, 7,500 lakes in West Greenland have turned brown, and they have changed, they basically their color has changed from crystal blue to brown, and scientists have linked this to climate change and extreme weather events. So what happened? Greenland usually gets snow between August and September. Okay, it usually gets snow between the month of August and September, right? But 2022 saw unusually warm temperatures, and this caused something else. This it caused massive rainfall instead of snowfall. तो स्नोफॉल की जगह, ग्रीनलैंड आपको पता है कि पोलर रीजन के पास है, वहां पे स्नोफॉल होना चाहिए, लेकिन अनयूजुअल टेम्परेचर राइज की वजह से स्नोफॉल की जगह ग्रीनलैंड एक्सपीरियंस मैसिव रेनफॉल, and it also experienced thawing of permafrost. What is permafrost? Yes. What is permafrost? Yes, this is your homework. You need to find out what is permafrost. So, permafrost began to thaw. It began melting and release of carbon, iron, and other elements into lakes. Okay. So, this led to a release of many elements like carbon, iron, and other elements into lakes. So by July 2023, the impact was clearly visible. Brown lakes instead of blue. Right? तो आप देखो कि climate change is reality. Some people are saying, some people are still in the delusion कि नहीं भाई climate change ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Evidence आपके सामने है. Climate change की वजह से Greenland के lakes blue से brown हो गया है. Now, the question is, why should we care? See, these lakes used to absorb carbon dioxide like forest, right? अब लेक्स क्या करते हैं, वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को एब्जॉर्ब कर रहे थे. दे एब्जॉर्ब carbon dioxide just like forest. Now opposite is happening. Now they have become sources of carbon, and they have increased emission by 350%. Yes, by 350%. So they have increased the emission by 350%. Another study also found that forests, plants, and soil absorbed the lowest amount of carbon since 2003. Since 2003, they have absorbed lowest amount of carbon. This means we are losing natural carbon sinks, leading to higher atmospheric CO2 levels and more global warming. See, these forest, plants, and soil, what they do, they absorb excess of carbon dioxide in which is present in the atmosphere, so they absorb it, right? And this helps in reducing the amount of carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. But since 2003, we are seeing that they are losing their that we are losing natural carbon sinks, meaning that these natural resources, they have absorbed lowest amount of carbon since 2003, and this has led to higher atmospheric CO2 levels. Up the up, Now you already know, if CO2 level is rising in the atmosphere, so we will experience more global warming, and hence will start melting, oceans and sea level will rise, will experience tropical diseases, right? So all these phenomena, they are interconnected. Global, if global warming is going to rise, global warming is going to increase, then more ice will melt, right? And as a result, the cycle will continues. And what we are seeing here, that forest, lakes, for example, in the Greenland, they used to be uh, they used to absorb carbon dioxide from the air, but since they have turned into brown, now they are emitting carbon dioxide. So instead of becoming carbon sink, now they have become sources of carbon dioxide. They are emitting the carbon dioxide in air, right? So that is what is happening in Greenland. Now, students, question is, how do these stories connect? Education and climate change might seem unrelated, students, but they are deeply linked. See, ASAR report shows that students need better digital literacy, and this can help them access climate related information and become future problem solvers. Early education reforms mean future leaders will be better prepared to tackle environmental challenges. And schools can introduce climate education to help young students understand and act on global issues. So, if we invest in quality education today, we create a generation that can innovate and find solutions for climate change, pollution, and sustainability. All right, so that brings us to the end of today's episode. What we have covered first is ASER 2024 report and why early education is crucial, rise of digital literacy among rural students, and then Greenland's lakes turning brown due to climate change, and how education can empower future climate action. Right? So here's my challenge for you. If you are a student, start exploring climate education. Learn how global warming affects your community, right? The more we learn, because the more we learn, the better we can shape a sustainable and educated future. So thank you for tuning in today's episode. I'll see you next time with more insights. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep learning. Bye bye, students.